All right.
Tu hai scritto libri, però lei fa viaggi, ricordiamoci
Esatto.
di dire che lei fa dei viaggi bellissimi.
Here we are live again. Con voi everybody, con te Gnomo, con te Gazza. Today we're going to talk about the divine. It's our 9th episode, if I'm not wrong. And as always, all your questions, all your point of view are very welcome. So you can leave a comment in the chat and we can also discuss about your question and whatever you're going to share in the chat. This meeting has been created for this reason, so that we can share, we can debate about many topics that are connected with our daily life, are connected with Damanhur, in order to create a moment, a situation, a condition of sharing. So I will wait a couple of seconds more in order that everyone is starting to join this meeting. And so, yeah, let's play guitar to cover the first minute of the live stream so that everyone is connected. Okay, I think we can start. All right. What is the divine? Where is it? Inside, outside, in the middle, up, down, and how can we feel this divine in our daily life? And what, of course, meaning, Damanhur. So I will always start with this first question that can help everyone for us to better focus. When Damanhur is talking about the divine, what Damanhur means, saying divine. I will start with Nyomo, then of course, Gazza, you can add, and we can, let's say, go on with this debate. And of course, all your questions are very important, so feel free to write in the chat whatever you want to share with us. Nyomo, divine.
In a nutshell.
Exactly. Okay. Let's try.
It's I think it's very simple in terms of the origin, the need, the attitude to think about something that is beyond, that is not me or my people, race. It's natural for every civilization of the world. We have many tools for every age, every civilization, for many civilizations. For example, reading the myth of every people all over the world, we always found a religion or a myth that is talking about a kind of God.
Mhm.
So it's natural, completely natural for human beings to feel, need, searching for, perceive, something is beyond. It's a need. For example, for Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, it is one of the main archetypes
Exactly.
of human being. Of course, when you started to talk about this, the archetype of sacred, the middle of the First and the Second World War, so was a period where human being was fighting for food, for freedom, so it was not easy to think about that aspect.
Divine,
But
yeah.
after the Second World War, when the well-being started to rise, the frigidaire was full of food, and in the Western world there was a lot of richness, a lot of suicide. Demonstrate that human being was not happy. Why? Because the sacred was not feel, was not perceived as something important. So the sacred, maybe we can talk about the difference between God and the sacred.
I was close to that, like, of course. So sacred
So I
and divine.
I answered without answering.
This is how we like to begin. So you point out
Floating between.
the sacred, divine, and again talking about.
And sorry,
Go on.
very sorry. Damanhur was found because of this need to bring together the daily life,
Exactly.
the world as we can perceive it, the work, needs, money, have an house, a family, dog, everything with secret, with spirituality, not divided in two different things. Okay, but trying to, I think the Damanhur is an experiment, is a test to bring together the divine and the material world without conflicts, without separation.
Living as a life part of your lifestyle, of your routine.
Yeah.
And this is what I want to ask to you, Gazza. And in your experience as a Damanhurian, how do you perceive and when do you and what's the meaning that you give to this the divine in your daily life? When you start to feel that, how do you say see it and perceive it in your life?
Well, I think the divine is something that is, like I was saying, outside of us, and it belongs to everyone, outside and inside of us. And how to perceive, how to connect, for me, it's the quality of presence. Because if I am in doing catching up, running on the surface, I cannot perceive, like Emma was describing this word, is perceive from the edge of the book. I am only running on each page, and I am missing the story. I'm missing it. And so in the morning, for instance, before I wake up, I dedicate 30 minutes, 7, because usually it could be 10, but I do 7 minimum, to really just breathe and focus and try to be present.
Wow.
And then in this way, I can go in the world with more layers, more pages of my book. And when I came to that, I was attracted by this. That's what attracted me the most when I came and I started visiting this place for the first time. I was attracted by this way of living together. That was like a tribe. That wasn't just like a single unit family, but more of a collective oneness. And I wasn't interested in the spiritual at all. This wasn't, it wasn't inside of me and my thoughts. And then this is something that I discovered, like a perfume that was in the air when I came, and the eyes of the others, and why they were doing what they were doing, how they were doing what they were doing, and then I started going deeper in this that I explained before, trying to start including, and it's another journey. It's right.
Of course.
It's a process of awakening.
So also, if you want to add something, Gnomo, and just to point out, when I'm looking to the phone here, is because I look if you are writing questions in the chat, so that you can answer. Okay, this is why I'm looking to the phone. Okay.
So I'm not checking.
I'm not checking my Instagram while we are doing our podcast.
I want to point out.
Do you want to point out something
that Gazza said? That I think the idea to reach the divine because of your life is deeper, your quality is deeper, and so today running and walking on the surface of life, we can reach the divine. So you don't have to meditate for hours, but you have to be present in your life. Stop to run, slow down. I'm only repeating what you said because I think it's beautiful.
And I asked a question when we have done the Italian section about this topic. I asked, of course, I asked a simple question. I ask a question for Mika and Sunday.
What is a simple question?
Let's see. Yes, okay, but why in the 2024 person living this for the sickness, for the why someone has to wake up in a normal daily life living in, I don't know, we always use New York, but it can be wherever in the world, and have the will to search about the divinity, to search about divine or something. What do you think about this? Because I think some of the people that are following us will be already in contact with this feeling, with this perception. Some others say, why? How this can be important for me right now in my life?
Can I edit a little bit your
Sure.
question? And I think that Gazza can talk more than me about that because she's working a lot with guests. Why so many people that come to Damanhur in the last 10 years are so interested in this? And there are many people that are feeling that there is a sort of emptiness.
Exactly.
So they're searching for this. Of course, we already talked about researcher, philosophers, people, or also many masters around the world that they talk about human being as not only a material engine, a body, but also as a divine spirit. Let's talk about, for example, Gnostic religion, Egyptians. Again, all the civilization they touch that point. We have something inside of us. Also, the terms inside, I think, is not completely correct. There is something in the human being nature that is completely sacred and need to. So we are not talking in this case. We're not talking about a specific divine, a specific divinity. I don't know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I would say this is like an anchor that we have.
Yeah,
We
something.
have,
Yes, part
it's
of
like
us.
part of our soul, and we say Damanhur, divine inside of us is what we the ones.
That's also an interesting point.
So
It's
like,
sleeping.
don't wake up.
Don't wake it up. Don't wake it up. Hey.
And so it's feel this completeness that we are into this. This is something that is very difficult to do, especially today when we are the speed of things is catching up is crazy, and how can you really find a moment? But it's not about finding a moment. This is the point, like you was saying, it's like putting it together in your daily life and maybe just taking a deep breath in that moment and include yourself in the picture. Because when we run too fast, and sometimes when we are listening to something, being able to translate that something, what is it? And we'll translate it into something new, to make that light that is flashing go off, or is it something deeper? And sometimes we need events in our life that can help us in this direction and make us slow down our pace or ask ourselves totally different questions. And we'll begin to ask ourselves questions.
And I will now take the chance to go to an important question since you already, let's say, before was nothing. So we say the divine side, outside. More or less now, the different philosophy all around the world are, let's say, mainstream of spirituality is saying the divine is inside. Is inside each one of us. But is the divine also outside of us? So now we should talk about the specific forces. Are they really existing outside of us? Are they something specific or not? Since we know that many native people, many cultures all around the world are, let's say, direct energies, thoughts, arts, culture towards a specific forces. And even in the whole of Labyrinth, in our underground temple, the Temple of Humankind, we have, let's say, represented many different. Let's deepen this topic. What they are, do they exist, how they have been created. I think it's quite interesting to go in that. So, Gnomo, if you want to give us again a pictures when we talk about, in this case, an entity of forces, a divine forces outside of us. what do we mean?
How many hours we have?
Few minutes. But if you want to deepen this topic, you can join some of the Gnomo classes or other teacher classes about spiritual physics and deepen this topic.
Try
to know the secrets.
And get to know more secrets. But let's give a hint.
Okay. I think that this is very important. Sometimes people they come to Damanhur, for example, visiting the Temple of Humankind, they got a lot of different
Exactly.
entities. In Damanhur, we use the term forces. This is not so usual. For us, forces has a specific meaning. Usually, or the word forces is electromagnetism, gravity. Okay, this is because we consider the divine the divine forces, so the divinities, for example, I don't know, Horus or and so on. Every divine like a force. So something that is interfering, interacting with the material world. That's something connects us. But in the same time, we believe, because this is a system of believers, we believe that there is a unique God, complete God, the goddess, the God that is not male and female, complete, like the complete God that is the sum of every kind of divine forces. And this complete God, because it's complete, like the complete universe, is transcendent, is beyond. It's something we can reach directly. To reach that God that is beyond, we need something in the middle, the divine forces, the divinities. But how, or maybe why divinities exist? Looking, again, I have to repeat myself, looking at the different civilizations, looking at the history of mankind, we can see it clear, reading the myth, studying stories of the different civilizations. Every civilization, step by step, created
His
divine
own
forces,
his own divine forces.
So the theory, and we Damanhur, we are trying to prove theory with the existence of Damanhur that because we have the divine inside, so the divine is inside of us, because we are creators, so we can create.
Exactly.
We are able to create, believing, praying for thousands of years, because the thought is energy that can create effect on the reality. We created a lot of divinities in the history of humankind. Today, maybe we can use the terms of the information technology. The divine is like a software we created in order to contact
This inner forces,
like
this
Outlook
yeah.
or the email, contact the divine that is outside. But this divine outside, because is complete, is unique, is everything. So the inside and the complete outside is the same place.
Okay.
Out of space. It's something that today also the quantum mechanics is going to
Going
touch.
close to that.
That the absolute and my specific point of view are the same point, that are only physically divided. But like, for example, you can see two different islands and you say they are divided from the sea. But if you look, like she said, in the deeper level, down to the ground, they're connected in the same land. We are only looking at two different islands because we are looking at the surface. But if you go deeper, the inner and the outside is connected. So thousands and thousands of years, we created a lot of divine forces so many forces that we started to have the need to reorder all the divine forces. That's the work of God with the triads.
Yeah, project.
Many other groups around the world in the last centuries, they try to reorder all this confusion of many divine forces in order to recombine something. A lot of words, sorry.
Okay, no, don't worry. I'm just checking with the regie if the audio is okay, more or less okay.
Yes.
We promise that we're gonna improve it in the next live stream.
Louder.
Okay, more close to us. Okay, thank you to our amazing regia, and thank you to every one of you that
Mara.
is Mara saying that maybe the audio is not working. So now we try
The
to
most important
move it.
person is the only one that they can see.
They can see exactly. One day we're gonna do a live stream also with Mara. Okay, so we try to keep the microphone much closer, and of course, in the next live stream we try to improve also this part. So Gazza,
I would like to add
Yeah,
to what
add
Gnomo was
Thank
saying
you very
about the interconnectedness,
Yeah.
which is a word I like very much. Today we are in all situations, environment context, very often separated. We are we find it very difficult to be in the togetherness, in the union, in the natural unity that belongs to our nature.
Mhm.
And for instance, in ancient times, in the tribe, the shaman was the eyes and the ears of the people. And the shaman could, for those people, uh, foresee the future, any danger or any opportunity, or heal to find solutions for the single cells of that body that was the tribe. We've lost this, but this deeply belongs to us. And each time we think about divine, sacred, all of this big subject, which is, we were saying, simple but complex, I think we have to see this as an ecosystem. The divine, the divinity, like there's thousands, like Jan was saying, and we can see these also represented in the temple, in the hall of the labyrinth, in this, in each one in their unique difference, which is their importance, the diversity, the richness, the unique expression of that way of thinking of the people, of that land, of that interconnectedness and union and no separation between people, land, the language itself, which is a way of thinking, a way of the world, and the animals, and all that belongs to that whole onion, we can say, with all the layers that belong to it. And we are included in this onion if we see it on a bigger scale, like Nana was saying, where we are the same soul, the same nature of the bigger, of the last layer, or the Chinese boxes, where box after box, but then we can open
And that is
from
yours.
and there's my head. So as simple as complex and as fascinating, because then in the end, this is mysteries.
Sure.
Christians have tried to investigate the wrong way. This mystery, which is what makes it also so important and fascinating.
And I want to ask you,
Yeah,
you want to say something?
to Gaza was a shorter and a more clear version of what I said before. Because if God is complete, is absolute, the only way to better describe something that need to cover and embrace everything is to create many different uh,
Forces,
many divinities with a lot of different diversity. Because the absolute is having diversity. So to have many divine forces means to describe many colors. God.
Beautiful. And why? A simple question. Since we talk about now,
Just one sec. Yeah.
just we're talking about now that many cultures, native people, tribes, has they search a relationship with this divine forces.
Yes.
They've created and they search this sort of relation. Now, 2024, why it should be that important to create a relationship, a connection with the divine forces, but specifically, what this means for them. So when in Damanhur we talk about creating a relationship with this divinity, what does that mean? Okay, I'm trying to do some tests with the microphone to see if we can. Like now it's working better, for example, maybe or not. Yes or no? Yes, much better. Okay, maybe let's see. Much closer is not possible because the table is finished, so it's impossible. As this one, I can try to move it like this, and maybe it's working better. Let's see. Otherwise, we're gonna keep continuing, and I'm sure somehow you can hear us. So now, if you want to start, when we thought about again creating this relationship, specifically in the Damanhur point of view, what does that mean, and why? Why it should be important? What does that bring to your life?
I think it is important because the connection or the relationship between human body and the divine is not only a need, but is something we need to be complete. We can't be complete without a connection. But today, I think all over the world, the need is to go to do a step from the previous version where there was always something that was translating for you or creating a bridge between you and the Pope and the priest, the shaman that was creating a bridge between you and God. So there was always someone else, something else in between. From a new way, we connect, directly connected, without anything in the middle.
Mhm.
So a direct connection between humans and God. It means that people they need maybe to have some, suggestion, inspiration, or techniques, or maybe to have a space to understand how to create this private and complete connection with God. That I think for every different culture, for every different people is different. You can create a technique that can work for everyone. I think is important today is important to help people to create their own connection with God without any translation in the middle. People are able to understand, to experience the sacred without anyone in the middle that is describing to you what do you have to think, what do you have to believe, and so on. Of course, for example, for the Greek religion, it means that there is the, self-made religion. It's a way to, um, you know, to try again, to say to people, you need us to understand God. I think we don't need a priest, we don't need a bridge, and have a direct connection. But we have to cultivate this connection in order to create something maybe in 100, 200, 300 years, it will be natural. We have to create.
To go to that point,
Yeah, to build it, to design it.
and that's one of the reasons.
That's my idea.
Yeah, Gnomo, then let's go to Gaza. I would just add that that's one of the reasons that why Damanhur has been created. So Damanhur
Yes,
is
one
a
of the main
place,
reasons.
it's a kind of container where you can experience in your daily life and bring, as you were saying at the beginning,
Laboratory.
exactly, as a living laboratory for the future, in this case, to contact our sacredness, our divine, connect inner divine and outside divine in your daily life. So we're trying to, as you were saying in the beginning, it's a social experiment, social spiritual experiment where we can, let's say, be in touch with this perception and with these forces, with the spiritual ecosystem in our daily life. But Gaza, same question to you, and go for it.
I would say it
If you
is
want just to come
something
closer a little bit.
they invited me to come closer to the end of the table.
Just
I
say
think
it's
it is something very natural that we have lost. We have forgotten. It's just like we have forgotten to connect to the trees. That's just we give for granted the plant world, which we couldn't live without physically because they provide for us our oxygen, but also spiritually we cannot live without this alliance. And the same with the spirits of nature, which are, let's say, the first step in this the first layer of this onion, as we were describing it before, no? And they escape when they see humans because we don't respect them, we don't think of them, we don't consider them. Luckily, I have friends who live in the north, and they tell me that they ask before building a house if they can, and they listen for the answer before starting building. So this is really like in Italy. This is really amazing that it's still happening today. And so I would say it's natural, and I would think in this perspective, it's a laboratory where a laboratory for the future. Once we were saying this, I was thinking this is weird, but then I thought, no, this is real. I like it now. This description of us, because you can describe Damanhur in so many ways, where we can experiment like a greenhouse. Now we can also make mistakes. You can allow yourself to get something wrong,
like the audio
and like the audio, like the microphone, and experiment a new relationship with myself. I have to begin with me. Experiment and experience and develop a new relationship with the other, with nature, and with the divine. So it's something that together we can make it, because it's not easy if we're all in the same direction, if we're all working for the same mission impossible. And also to put down the foundations for this new time that all prophecies speak about as a golden age. And we are now in the labor pains to get to this new birth, this new beginning. And we are the ones to experiment, to put down the foundations, the paradigms of this new age ahead of us, including this very important relationship with the divine. That, I think, begins with me, with creating a space inside, and not just going like an arrow and running, and including listening, beginning with listening, which is the most difficult thing to do for me, at least. Listening and listening from inside, and finding the rules to mature and express this best aspect at the best.
Okay, now I would like to cover a topic that it popped up many times. In the meanwhile, I'm introducing this question. I think yes.
Maybe.
I hope now it's getting better. But by the way, as we said before, we are in a process. Okay, we are in the process of making better and better. I would like to introduce the topic of praying. So, praying. When we do pray, so let's say in the common, maybe it's an Italian thing, but I think now it's very international. When we talk about the divine gods, the praying is part of this process. Let's say it's one of the method of the technique to contact the gods, and maybe to ask for something, or also to, let's say, be grateful for the help, for the protection, and so on. Back to Damanhur. What's I was asking you a question. So what's the meaning?
One at a time.
Yeah, one at a time. Okay, let's go Gnomo first and second Gazza. So to Gnomo, I want to ask from
Why
the
always me?
spiritual, physical point of view, from a technical point of view, what's the meaning of praying? And second question is, in Damanhur specifically, how do we approach, let's say, ourselves in the daily life? Talking about you, but if you also want to add about something about praying, is it something that you wake up in the morning and you pray, or before you go to sleep you pray, in your personal experience? Okay, so first of all, what do we mean when we talk about praying, and then your experience?
I'm a man, I can handle only one question at a time.
Try to do your best.
So,
Yeah, no, come closer to the mic.
from the very first period of the creation of Damanhur, we chosen to have the challenge of Damanhur was to approach the prayer not as a request, and not at all, but as a communication with an exchange. where you offer something, and the feedback is something you are not expecting. Okay, like when you talk with someone, you say what you offer your point of view, waiting for an answer. So because it means that you are not using the divine like you are using a hammer or a car. Way to control and use is a very lower level of communication. But we are not talking about something that is at your level. It's on a higher level, the divine. So you have to communicate with the highest level of communication you can express. We believe that the offer or your life or thought or your experience is a way to have a respect for the forces. In the other hand, that's why we created the School of Meditation. If you want to communicate with God, because this is a presumption, you have to express the quality of human being. So you have to do a work inside of you in order to express the better of you, or maybe because it's a very slippery idea, you don't have to destroy something of you. You have to transform every part of you in order to express the better for every part of you. So there's not better and worse inside. It's like an alchemist. You have to do it, you have to work every day. That's why the School of Meditation. In this way, you can have the pride, you can have the quality, you can have uh, the amount of quality in order to talk with the divine. If you're not expressing your human being, you can't connect with the higher level of forces. So the School of Meditation was designed because of this need. The idea to reconquer the connection, the direct connection with the divine. But the prayer is the challenge of Damanhur. The prayer is not a request; it is an exchange where you offer something, like a friend.
Yeah.
To a friend, you are not asking for something; you are offering.
Offering, giving. Yeah.
Always, of course, your friend will give you something back, but it's not what you are expecting.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the respect you have.
It's a state of.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge
exactly.
because for the human being, and we are all human, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a Gazza maybe.
For human,
alien.
it's normal to have a need to request when we are in trouble, when we are suffering, and we are facing disease.
Sure.
It's easier to ask for help, but it's not the right way. That's the challenge. That's the challenge.
Thank you, Gnomo and
welcome.
Gazza. Going to the daily life, so your experience. When are you feeling you're praying? Where do you place the concept of praying, the prayer in your daily life as a Damanhur, from your experience?
In Damanhur, we say that we pray with our hands, which in other words is what Gnomo was saying with meditation. So it's meditation, but it's the action of meditating. Where meditation is not meditating, like we think, like what I thought. What I discovered is the measure of my presence. So in praying with our hands, it's like polishing the quality of my presence, as we were saying earlier, and then offering my presence. It can be work, it can be art, it can be it can be doing the dishes, it can be whatever I do in my day. Then in Damanhur, we also have spiritual pathways, addresses, groups that are in particular developing all these aspects of our life. Like imagine the foundation of a civilization. You would think of food, you will think of agriculture, you'll think of music, you will think of theater, you will think of education of children. Anything we do, love, couples, everything, anything we do, praying, and I'm connected with myself. and offering this gratitude. This is how I would describe it. Then you were asking me how much to do. This is the direction. This is the direction to get it. But in moments during the day, like moments where we went to bed in the morning, it gives a rhythm. Oh, I start with the thought. Before the food, I send a thought of gratitude, appreciation, giving thanks, and then that can be another occasion. So we can help ourselves during the day with the rhythms of the day and include this, and little by little improve.
It. Sure.
That's why we should live in communities, because in this way we can help each other to remember
Exactly.
how to do it. When we are alone, it's easy to face this challenge. I want to add something we not yet talking about the divine, that is the humorisms.
Yes.
Looking at the last 3,000, 4,000 years, especially the monotheisms, we always see God that is sad, that is very strong. We believe that to be connected with the divine is to be able to laugh enough, to be able to understand, to take the funniest aspect of everything in your life, and to be able to laugh with God. It's not easy. That's another challenge, but we have to find a way to be happy and to.
Queste sono le informazioni.
Siri want to participate to this research.
Participate.
It's very synchronic, and this is part of the humor.
Artificial intelligence. The new God that you it's a trial. But we are entering into
that's another episode.
Very challenging topic. Yes. So I think that we,
it's synchronic.
To find the funniest way to God is laugh. I think it's not sadness. And this is important. Falco, the founder of Damanhur, was always pointing up the point that is not sadness. So we have to change our idea, I think, about the connection with us and God. We have to laugh with God.
Go, Gazza. You want to add something?
Just one word, and yes,
Pleasure.
and
Of course.
laughter, and when you cannot laugh, at least smile. And also another ingredient in the recipe, I would say, like Falco once described, God is a bubble of patience. So if we can see this,
I remember that day.
Don't you remember?
Yes.
He was always giving different answers to the same question, and this I found very interesting, because also for us, for me, expressing patience is a divine quality.
Yeah, the bubble of patient means that instead of us, against the idea we always have, God is able to wait for your evolution. We can't wait. We want to change the other people. You're wrong. You have to change. God, that is powerful, that is so powerful, can wait. I can't wait. That's not good.
That's not good, especially in this
modern society where waiting, listening is something that is
very
difficult to do.
Capital W.
Yeah.
Okay, so I arrived at this point of our meeting. I always say to both of you, since we've said many things, we've tried to look at this topic of the divine from many different
people in beautiful places all over the world to touch the divine.
Hey, you want to say something about that, about your travel? So, is it? I will set the question. I will set the question in this way, and then I go for the last question. So, is it, let's say, the traveling is this very sacred meaning, part of the journey of trying to have a relationship with God? Travel, it means moving ourselves from where we live, or moving, let's say, go to those specific places around the world, which are, let's say, activated from some specific energy. What you would add to that?
Well, I like to travel to like esoteric destinations, so places that already have an energy layers of, like Nima was describing how our thought creates. Many thousands of people are constantly bringing energy also to the layers that already are there. And so these are really opening to mysticism. And this is what I've found in the last travels to particularly Israel and Petra and also Greece, where, no, not really Greece, but Macedonia, northern Greece, more close to Turkey. Yama goes to Greece, he can add something to this. And this is traveling in this sense is a wonderful opportunity of making the most of those days where you tap into these energies, connect with people you never would have come in touch with, and you move parts of yourself, you open. It's a multi-layer, enriching experience. So I would totally recommend. But any destination, not only magical places, any destination, you travel inside. And this is, in fact, one of the principles, one of the parameters of the schools. We have our children travel very much to learn then, as they travel, the mathematics, the geography, the history, and especially about themselves and being with the others, which is something that normally at school they don't teach us.
So thank you guys and thank you Gnomo. I will go for the last question. Yeah, Gnomo want to add something?
They are talking about a lot.
Okay, no, but go for it, Gnomo, go for it.
Because I think that Gazza will agree with me that the travel is a trap. Right? It's a trap. It's a way to bring people far from the daily life they have, and this distance, this tension, create that sacredness that enable the people to start again to rise, to grow. It's only a trap. It's a trick. It's a trick. This is the tension. Of course, if you are going to a beautiful place or a sacred place with a lot of history, you are helping the people to go in a specific vibration, specific direction. But the travel is always
The method,
also a technique to go inside. If you do it in the right way. If you are trying to bring with you your life, like you go um,
from here to India, let's say.
to
So
India,
very far away.
but you go to a five-star hotel with the same food you are always eating.
With your spaghetti, with
With
Italian
your-
food.
with everything you are with you are not moving. You spend a lot of money to stay at home.
You recreate
It's
the
not
environment.
travel.
So, as always, the last question is after all this conversation, of this debate, of the all the things.
can win $1 million.
Yeah, why not? Let's try to pray for that. So, just both of you, in few sentences, if you what's let's say inspo the message you distill and you want to let's say share after all this conversation, like it can be a sentence, it can be an exercise, it can be whatever you want, but it's something that close, let's say, this debate with a specific frequency and message you want to share with all the people that are listening to us. Okay, really, feel free to say whatever it comes to you. Guys, I feel you that you are ready. You are already ready. Whatever it comes.
But the first thing that I'm thinking is maybe to take a moment in the day to smile at yourself as if you were opening the door every day a little bit more to this part that is inside of you, which is pure love and joy and beauty.
Thank you, Katza. Yama, what you would like to share at the end of this episode?
She already talked about something that you have to do every day. So I
yeah.
have to do something different. I want to suggest a challenge. Everyone is listening to us. Something to do in 1 year. Okay, from today in 1 year to do every day, every month, descriptions like when you are writing a book about the part of you don't like, the worst part of you, and to find a way to fall in love with that part you don't like about you, because if the divine is inside, you can't, uh, you know, throw away
Like or
something
not like,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be able to embrace everything, and it's when you fall in love with your part. I'm still in the middle of this journey. You can really meet the divine, because the divine is not outside. The divine is outside, is only a projection of the divine we have inside. But to really understand it, we have to do a daily work in order to do something very practical. Or it's always
Yeah,
too,
something too far from.
too far.
Thank you, Gnomo, and thank you, Gazza. I'm so close to the microphone because today we had this kind of issues. And thanks to all of you to have been here with us. And as always, I remind you that you can find under the videos on the description all the links to get to be in touch with Damanhur and to, if they follow all the next episode. Feel free to share with all your friends this live stream, these videos that we are doing. So we're gonna see in the next month. And thanks to Nyomo, thanks to Gazza, thanks to Mara,
Thanks to Entello.
thanks to myself, to Entello, and to really all of you that has been here with us. It's been a pleasure. And convoy, and see you in the next episode. Convoy, convoy, convoy.